Act 2, Chapter 2, Arrival in Paris. The train hummed beneath the pale morning light as it rolled into Gare du Nord. Steam rose like whispers from the tracks, culling through the crisp March air. Paris was waking up. Vendors were unlocking their stands, pigeons hopping between crumbs, and a faint tune of an accordion drifted from somewhere unseen. He stepped down from the carriage, clutching a worn leather satchel. His scholarship papers were folded neatly inside, along with a single photograph of his mother and the smell of her cooking still clinging onto the fabric of his coat. He was 21, nervous and proud, a foreign student from far away, with a name that French tongues would learn to mispronunciate. The city seemed both beautiful and brutal all at once, gray, alive, impatient. Men in suits hurried past him, women with scarves wrapped tight against the chill which carried bread and cigarettes along with it. The language swirled around him like music he couldn't yet follow. Two astonishments happened in a narrow way, like in an apartment near Rue Saint-Jacques. She was unpacking her suitcase. Books spilled out first: Le Ronda, Camus, tattered French grammar guide, then a stack of letters from home tied with red ribbon. Her family had cried at the airport, not out of the fear, but pride. She had won a place at the Sorbonne to study literature. She told herself this was her beginning, her own story. This was her time to write it. By afternoon, their paths crossed from distant lands, but for the first time in the student cafe near campus, here they were. He sat alone, nursing a tiny espresso, bent over a French dictionary, mouthing words silently. She entered in a gust of perfume and cold wind, and struggling to order in French. The barista's sigh was audible. He looked up, smiled gently. "Café à la," he whispered across the counter, helping her. She turned and caught off guard by the accent, unsure, warm, and familiar. "Merci," she said, softly, her voice shy but grateful. They found themselves sitting near each other, two exiles among Parisians, separated by a small round table and the rhythm of rain outside. They exchanged small talk in broken English that melted into English somehow, and then laughter. It was cutting through all the nervousness. You told her he was from Lagos, or maybe Beirut, depending on how you can imagine it, and that his father was proud and frightened to let him study abroad. She told him she was born in São Paulo or Sevilla, and that her mother wanted her to become a teacher, though she secretly dreamed of painting. Paris wrapped around them like a living character. Damp streets glowing under lamplight, smoke hanging into the air, posters of protest and disco shows pasted in cracked walls. The city was changing, and so were they. They began to meet by coincidence, or perhaps something more, in the same cafe each morning. Sometimes they walked together to class, sometimes they didn't speak at all, just shared the silence of youth, trying to belong somewhere. Weeks turned into months, and their French improved. Their laughter grew easier, and they teased each other about, how serious he was in his face when studying, or how he teased her about the endless scarves and obsession with poetry. One night after class, as they crossed the Seine, the wind blew harder than ever, and it lifted her hair. And incessantly he reached out, steadying her arm. For a moment, the lights of Paris reflected her eyes, the kind of moment that changes everything. Through neither of them, but they said it out loud. When they parted, she turned and waved from across the street. Bonsoir, she said, as she called out. Adieu, he replied, steady smiling. Neither of them knew that tomorrow would become years, and years would become a lifetime. And that was just tomorrow. They had met, they had grown fond of each other, and the seeds of their loves had grown. And now they couldn't be apart. They couldn't be separated. They were one another. They were each other.